Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing the button in 3, 2, 1. And until somebody sends us an intro song, we'll do our own. Ready?
Sure.
I'll do the shaker. You do that. And no, do that. The other one. Yeah. Right.
If I can get it.
Yeah.
Okay, that is our intro. Please send us
Shout
an
out to
intro.
the whole-
Somebody.
You know what?
Uh,
Before we start, I'm just gonna shout out to myself. I didn't even know how to do that 5 minutes ago, and then
What are you throwing around?
that was actually you. That was you. That was your foot. Don't blame me for that.
There's
He's
an
he's
ukulele
throwing my
falling
ukulele
down.
around. But and then I kept up with your tempo too. Man, I'm proud of myself.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. So
It wasn't pretty, but it happened.
welcome to Pontification Station, where we pontificate about games, facts, things, and objective, subjective, all kinds of objectives. And that's what we're going with. You know, I realized that in the first 2 episodes, I never introduced who Steven is. For those of you who don't know, Steven was born an orphan in Norway, at which time he was abducted by Vikings and taken over to Ireland, where he learned how to play the flute. He made his way over to the U.S., where he became a professional highlight player in Miami. And from Miami, he made his way here to the Tampa area. Microsoft just noticed, this guy's got way too many skills. His highlight skills are definitely going to come in handy. And so they brought him on board, and now we are privileged to have him join us. Did I get
never
any of
had
that
highlight
wrong?
with him.
You
No,
know,
that was verbatim exactly how it happened.
I'm really glad that you started to veer from your original course for that story, because at the beginning I was like, this sounds a lot like the story of St. Patrick. All you did was stick Norway in there.
Yeah, because, and again, listen, this is where we pontificate. If you do not know, St. Patrick's, this is bonus stuff, because this is not even with what we're talking about, but St. Patrick's real name was?
Maywin Socket.
That's right, Maywin Socket. That was his real name. And he wasn't even Irish. He was English.
He was English, yeah.
Yeah. He was
British
kidnapped.
did it again.
He was kidnapped and taken to Ireland and sold as a slave. And then he is actually the
Pig
story is
boy.
really bizarre. Then he actually escaped, and then after he escaped, he went back as a missionary to Ireland.
Ireland.
But yeah, so all this green stuff on St. Patrick's Day, I guess St. Patrick's does sound much better than St. Maywin Socket.
A little bit. doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Yeah, it's just not as good. So anyway, so yeah, when I was a school teacher, I would actually wear a top hat and the British flag on St. Patrick's Day, and everybody's like, "What are you doing?" And it's like he wasn't Irish.
He was English.
Yeah. So anyway,
And that's the hill you're gonna die on.
and that dude, there were a lot of hills. there were
A lot of
hills.
unnecessary
Listen,
hills.
I got called into the office more than the students got called into the office when I was teaching. Okay. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
He is what we would call a problem.
Yeah.
Instead of a problem child, we have a problem teacher.
Yeah. So with that, we are now finally getting started today. So does anybody actually just want to go ahead and jump in and go first? So for those of you joining us, what we do is we throw out a interesting fact that we found this week, and then we just go from there and see where we land. You seem to be nodding a lot, so I might just let you go first, since they can't
Sure.
hear you nodding.
Yeah.
You don't know
Congrats.
that. Maybe I'm aggressively nodding, so the wind kind of.
Just nod into your mic.
There you go. But yeah, sure. I'll go first. I have a kind of a fun little fact, actually. So, and it's actually the theme of my background right now, as you can probably, for those who are watching us at twitch.tv/gamers on the edge. Super Mario 64. It's a pretty legendary game. It's still even talked about today because, to my understanding, it's pretty much the #1 game to speedrun because it's that competitive, so on and so forth. You get the idea. My little fun fact was the development of Mario 64. More specifically, apparently, during the half stages of Mario 64, they decided, all right, half the team is dedicated to developing, and the other half of the team is dedicated to playtesting, actually playing with these levels, playing around with how the game works, especially 3D. First time doing that, they got to do it right. And a lot of Berlin people decided, I'm going to bring my kids to work so that the kids can also playtest because that's the target audience. You got to know what the kids like to get it going. And again, employees that brought their
Can
kids.
I pause real quick because I have to
Absolutely.
say, I wish Disney would have thought of that. Because honestly, some of the early Disney games were some of the hardest games I have ever played.
I mean, like Lion King, Aladdin,
That Toy Story one. The Toy Story game was great, but some of those levels were ridiculously difficult. So they obviously didn't have any kids testing those things. But anyway, you may continue. I just remember Disney games being ridiculously difficult.
In the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era, yeah, all those Disney licensed games were brutal.
Yeah.
But Miyamoto, Shigeru Miyamoto, creator of Mario, as well as other precious gems from Nintendo, he also had his kid help playtest, and I actually brought up the interview that he had where he talked about that, and I'm going to go ahead and quote Miyamoto verbatim right now. That's the kind of thing I want players to do. Pointless stuff like that. Truth be told, we did something with Mario 64 that we don't usually do. We had children playtest. We had a row of about 10 middle schoolers and had them play around on the King Bob stage for half a day while we observed from behind. My child was one of them, actually. ... But seeing him try dozens of times over and over to get up this unclimbable hill, as a parent, I couldn't help but think, geez, does this kid have any brains? And in parentheses, laughs. Afterwards, we asked the children what they thought of the game, and they said it was fun and that they wanted to play it again. So that's kind of cute, but I just love the idea of like the most brilliant minds in video game, like one of the most talked about names that created some of the best games to this day. I mean, again, Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, you get the idea. This man's big, and him going, is my kid stupid? As he's watching it and play Mario 64.
It's funny you're talking about them watching them. My brain does not work going backwards, but I can't remember what was an episode, the first one we did together or the second one, but I mentioned Q*bert and the fact that they put it in a bowling alley, and the developers watched people from behind a one-way mirror.
Yep, you did mention that.
And it was really funny because last weekend we were at an event, and I got to meet the developer. And I asked him about that, and he said that was a very, very normal thing that they would do. They would just drop arcade cabinets in bowling alleys and sit back and watch people from behind the glass, because he said every time you asked somebody, they were like, yeah, it was pretty good, yeah. But when they watched them, they'd see people storm off all mad because they just lost like in 30 seconds, They just couldn't get it. But so they found that it was just much better to actually just watch people instead of asking them, because they always made it sound nicer when you would ask them. But
naturally.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty nifty. Got to meet some interesting people last week. Hey, wait. See, this is completely random, but that's how we roll around here.
So is this your side fact for his fact?
No, go ahead. You can jump in, Javier.
So actually, I'm glad that you brought up the whole speedrunning thing, because my side fact is actually about Super Mario 64 speedrunning. I speedrun the game
quite a bit.
Every once in a while, just for fun. It's a fun game to. I love the movement and stuff, so.
Oh, it's one of the tightest controlling games ever.
But So as of March 19th, 2020, Super Mario 64 is the most speedrun game of all time, with 14,009 speedruns logged on speedrun.com.
Everyone wants a piece of that. Everyone wants a piece of it. Yep.
There's so many different different categories too. It's insane just how much people have put into this game.
Here's another person, again, because we pontificate and we jump in every single direction. Here's another person that I got to meet this weekend. Let's see if you can recognize this.
Welcome to NBA Jam, Making a Difference on Fire Edition. I'm here with Angel, and Angel and Gamers on the Edge have been doing a lot of work to help kids, to help people in need, keep the spirit, keep the fire strong, keep people healthy. So hashtag Making a Difference. Boom shakalaka. Give it up, my friends. Give it up and dig deep. Get those quarters ready and give them to hashtag Make a Difference.
The get the quarters ready, that was the cherry on top.
That was great, right? I expected
really
the
good.
boom shakalaka. I mean, that's what he was famous for. Boom shakalaka. He's on fire, you know? But the get the quarters ready to
He was a really
donate
cool
was
dude, too.
beautiful. Was that?
I said he was a really cool dude too.
He was very cool.
Sounds cool.
So, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
NBA Jam, right?
NBA Jam, yeah, the original.
That's
Man, I played a lot of that.
The best basketball
Yeah.
game. Let's just admit it, it's the best basketball game.
There was that, and the other one that I liked a lot, although I'll be honest with you, I liked the soccer one better, was the basketball street.
Street Hoops.
Oh, NBA Street.
Hoops?
NBA Street.
Street.
Was it?
It was
Street
called Street
Hoops.
Hoops.
Street Hoops. It's old. They had
Thinking
a
of this as
soccer,
Streets.
street soccer or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So good. It was so.
It
I'm
was
just
like
waiting for.
it was like a street series that they did.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Mario basketball.
Mario basketball.
but-
Hey, I'm looking forward to Mario Tennis once they actually get that done on the Switch.
They
Oh, they did.
they have.
Is it already up?
It's been out.
Yeah.
Did I miss
Yeah.
that? I need
It
to
was
get up
it was
to
on
my
that.
literally
understanding, it
out
was
before
mediocre.
COVID.
I need to get up on that. I need.
We
I
look at
need.
that.
I need me. We need to do a Mario Tennis tournament. Anyway, go ahead. Javier.
I was going to say that fun fact, I haven't done as much research as I want to yet, but it sounds like with the new 64 port that you get with the Switch online, the extra premium one, they brought back BLJs, backwards long jumps, one of the biggest, probably the most known speedrun technique ever.
And for those of you listening to this podcast or the YouTube in the year 2047, because these will be here forever, the date today is November 30th of 2021.
It is.
So that
Yep.
you know we're on top of things. So it hasn't happened yet. If it has happened already when you're listening to this, we're not behind. We're just time travelers. Just go with it. But you know what? That is a perfect transition. Let's talk about this. We're gonna test you guys. Javier, you have something to write on? Get your phone and open up a notepad on your phone. So because we're gonna test both of you. Last week and the week before, we are learning about objective and subjective. Objective being facts, subjective being sort of opinion. Facts maybe more opinion.
It's just opinion.
It is. So the first game we're doing this week is going to be an objective game. We're going to test the two of you. I'm going to stay with Super Mario 64. I mean, with, Super 64. My tan gets all tangled. Birds come out backwards. You ready, Javier? You're going to write down the answer.
No, I'm not ready.
Oh, you got to get ready. Here we
Well,
go.
I mean, I'm ready, but I'm not ready because I'm...
Question number 1. Do not answer out loud. How many total power stars can you collect in the game? How many total power stars can you collect in the game? Write your answer down, Javier.
See, I don't play Mario.
Well,
64.
this is we're gonna find out how much you know.
Yep.
Steven said, not much. Steven, what's your answer?
Already?
He said already.
I just feel like it's divisible by like, what's that magic number that's in every development, which is 256. But I'm gonna say 128.
Javier?
170.
120.
Ooh.
120. So,
That's-
so Steven's
That's
ahead
not.
right now.
That's not all of the. That's not all of the stars.
Fight him.
Was
That's not all of the stars.
I'm
gonna look it up.
No, 120 is the highest that people do in speedruns, but that's not the highest amount of stars you
Oh.
can get.
Uh-oh, we're going to have to research that. Are you researching, Steven?
Currently researching right now.
Okay. While you're researching, I'm going to jump straight into question number 2.
Nope, I already found it. Yep, it's 120.
It's 100. There's
Yeah.
no way they get every. I don't remember them getting every single.
Well, you're thinking, get speedrunning on your mind. This is layman Mario 64.
Yes, but like
Where is
I'm sure. I thought there were
King's
stars that they skip.
weak spot?
Usually you just don't care. You're just going to continue on.
Womp King's
Yeah, look at it
weak
right now.
spot. Where is that? Womp King's weak spot. Oh, you should know this one, Javier.
Repeat the question.
Womp King's weak spot. Where is it?
Womp Kings? Okay.
Yeah, when you're in his fortress, you're trying to kill him. What's his weak
Now,
spot?
are you saying thwomp as in TH? Thwomp?
What's your answer, Steven?
His back?
Javier?
Oh yeah, his back.
Okay, you both get that one. All right. How many how many different times can you raise Koopa the Quick? How many times can you raise Koopa?
How many times?
Race
can you
him?
Yep.
I'm going to take a wild guess.
What's your wild guess?
3. I'm going based off the rule
went
of 3.
Oh, you both went with 3. It is 2.
2.
Ooh.
Right. So Steven's still almost ahead by 1. Only because you were closer to the 120, even though you didn't get it. What is the name? That's going to be the tiebreaker right now.
There you go.
What is the name of the sea dinosaur who lives in Hazy Maze Cave?
I know what he looks like. I just don't
What
know
is the
his
what?
name.
The name of the sea dinosaur who lives in Hazy Maze Cave.
The little Loch Ness dude. Not Lapras.
Anything from either one of you?
I'm going to say Locky, just because it sounds
Nope.
cute. And he's clearly Loch Ness
I
Monster.
don't know.
No,
Pepsi?
Dory.
Dory.
Dorrie. Okay, man, this is a tough one here.
I need
In
64.
which level can you find Klepto the Condor? The
There's
name
a
of the level.
condor?
Oh, that's yeah, okay.
What'd you got? What'd you got?
Desert place. I don't know.
Javier?
That is oh, I know it.
With the pyramids.
Oh, it's is it Spinning Sandland or it's
Oh, okay.
So it is a desert area.
Okay, so now we have a tie. Because you were close enough, like he was close enough to the 120. It is Shifting Sandland.
shifting?
So I'm going to give him
Sands.
half a point. You got half a point, so we're back to a tie here.
Hooray!
Which of these is not a special cap in the game? You ready? Metal, Wing, Speed, or Vanish? Which one is not a cap in the game? Metal, Wing, Speed, or Vanish? What you got?
Jeez, I don't know. I've
Any
never
answers, Javier?
seen like a speed
Well,
or
I know the
vanishing-
answer.
Oh, he knows the answer. He might take the lead.
I know the answer. I know you know the answer. You speed run the game.
All right. Come on. What you got?
I'm gonna say vanish.
Javier?
Speed.
It is Speed.
Speed was my second guess.
Javier takes
I don't
the lead. How many times do you fight Bowser over the course of the entire game?
Once when you speed run.
The entire game was the key here.
I'm gonna say 3 times.
3 times.
It is 3 times.
And no, you have to fight him every single time. You have to fight him all 3 times, no matter what.
In the speed run?
Yep.
What is the name
Actually, you're right.
of the yellow
right.
rabbit that runs around the castle?
Are you
Oh,
ready to
crap.
lose?
He says, "Are
Yeah,
you
I'm
ready to lose?"
I am ready to lose. This will be the first one I lose, by the way.
It is. You've destroyed in the first two.
Well, that's because the other
it was
ones
like
were dumb.
21-1 on
The
the
other
first
ones were
one.
dumb.
And
I feel like there's a little bit of
16 to
favoritism.
3 in the second one. Oh, I got 2 games this week. All right, Javier, what you got?
Mips.
Mips it is. So he takes the
Yeah.
lead. How many power stars do you need before you can fight the final boss?
12?
70.
It is 70.
I don't know.
I mean,
This is
What
very
does
one-sided.
Yoshi give you?
technically you only need one, but
What does Yoshi give you when you
Actually, you
collect
don't even need one.
120 power stars? What does Yoshi give you when you collect 120 power stars?
Pat on the back.
You're so close. Not really, but what you got, Javier?
oh, wing cap.
He gives you 100 lives.
100 lives? Is that what it is? I
Yeah.
thought
Who needs 100 lives?
And the last question: where does the princess kiss Mario at the end of the game?
Around his big heckin' chonker of a nose.
his nose.
You both got that right. Okay, so Javier wins by 1. He makes a comeback. All right, way to go, Javier.
I won by 2. What do you mean?
This is favoritism.
He was-
I
Favoritism.
won by 2.
All right, so here's my point. Thank you. Let's do a commercial break. Commercial break. Go check out GOTE.tv, which is Gamers on the Edge on Twitch. Go check out on
Sword
Twitter,
Dog
Gamers
Sword.
on the Edge. On TikTok, we're on there now, GOTE Esports. And go to GOTEmerch.com. Use for the kids, the number 4. There you go. That's all the advertising for now. That was the commercial.
Follow us on
break.
Twitch. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook.
That's
Follow
right.
us on Instagram. Follow us. I lost my camera. Follow us
Just
wherever you want
dropped
to
the
be.
camera. What are we looking at?
I was hitting my desk and it fell off my monitor.
So with that, here's
like
my
XQC.
point of the day. Which, by the way, speaking of that Mario thing, did you know, before we move on, that the actress who voiced Princess Peach also wrote the game's text?
Wow,
Interesting.
that's a
Yeah, yeah.
cute little fact.
Yeah. And here we go. My fact. There have been Nolan Bushnell, who we talked about, the founder of Atari in 1972, sold it for $28 million in 1977, and then started Chuck E. Cheese.
That's a lot of clams.
Now, here's the kicker that I found interesting about this. I mean, so this guy starts Atari, which, if we go back a couple of episodes, you guys will hear me say that Steve Jobs actually worked for Atari when they first started. So he starts Atari, sells it for $28 million, and then takes that money and starts Chuck E. Cheese because he was just kind of intrigued with the whole thing of animatronics and what Disney was doing, and he wanted to do what Walt was doing. It was kind of a weird thing because at the time, McDonald's had put in all these playgrounds. Then there were video games going up everywhere. He didn't want to compete, so he just kind of made his own and conglomerate of all of it. The funny thing that I did find out about it is that he actually thought the reason it ended up being a rat that smoked cigars for kids, he actually bought this costume at, I can't even remember where it was, but he was at some event. He's like, "Oh, that's a great costume, I'll buy it, and then we'll use it as the mascot." So he bought the costume, and he's like, this coyote looks really cool, and he sends it off so that they can try it on and see what it looks like. And when they put it on, they realize this is not a coyote, this is a rat. But by that time, he was like oh, who cares? Let's just make it a rat then. But originally, it was going to be Coyote Pizza. Because he thought he bought a costume for a coyote because he thought it was a really cool coyote. Not a coyote, not a coyote. It was a rat. And by that point, he was like, oh, well, who cares? It's kind of funny. So we'll just move on with it. And another thing that I found interesting, man, if he could see the future. Steve Jobs, who, again, worked with him at the very beginning of Atari, offered him 1/3 of Apple for $50,000. He said, no, I'm going to start Chuck E. Cheese.
I believe in my rat.
He was going to own 1/3 of Apple for $50,000. He said no and started Chuck E. Cheese instead.
Steve, you just don't get it, okay? Pizza and skee ball. That's where it's at right now.
So what you didn't mention is that he is not the what's it called? He's not the owner of Atari, but he is a co-founder.
Uh-huh.
The other co-founder being let me get his full name. Ted Dabney. Ted Dabney, he left Atari because he felt overshadowed by Bushnell and another colleague, and eventually he ended up working back with Bushnell outside of Atari, and they created Syzygy Gaming, which Syzygy is a term that refers to, I think it's 3 or more celestial bodies in perfect alignment. Back in 1971.
Kind of like the three of us right now. Like, so if Javier, myself, and Steven stood in a straight line, would be a Syzygy. 3 celestial bodies.
There ain't nothing celestial about my body. I mean, unless you say that I'm a star, then I can't argue with you.
Unless I'm in the front, then it'd just be an eclipse.
I'm pretty sure I'm the dying neutron star.
But so, also, Chuck E. Cheese was not the original name of
No, had a
the
better
venture.
name, actually.
What was the name?
It was, so what I'm referring to is the original idea, which was Pizza Time Theater.
Ooh.
Pizza Time Theater. And
PRE Theater.
Well, by the way, Pizza Time Theater was after they realized they had a rat, because the original name was going to be Coyote Pizza. But anyway, go ahead.
This was before their whole
this is once
Chuck E.
they
Cheese
started
thing. So Pizza Time Theater, they started doing like the whole arcade thing, pizza, showtime, whatever, and they actually, Dabney created a lot of the games that went into the Pizza Time theaters through Syzygy Gaming, which is the project that he was on with
They were double dipping.
Bushnell. So yeah, he was.
What you got, Steven? I can see your face over there.
I'm just reading what Avi's talking about. And yeah, I'm acknowledging it. I got nothing else. I already did my
He's
fun fact.
acknowledging. I acknowledge.
I'm more so, I'm looking for any, actually. Yeah, no, right on point.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I would have liked the Coyote because honestly, the whole Five Nights at Freddy feel of Chuck E. Cheese was always creepy to me.
Chuck.
No, I die
Five
by
Nights at
the
Freddy's
skateboarding rat.
has a Chuck E. Cheese feel.
That's
not
true.
not the other way around.
That's
Chuck
very,
E. Cheese
very
was
true.
far more terrifying at a far younger age.
That dog gets me every time with the hat.
Dude, there were some of those things. So I'm looking through some of these things. They had a group called the Beagles, which were basically the Beatles, but they were just all dogs and they sang Beatles songs. They had a Michael Jackson animatronic. If you guys get a chance to check out, Dude, you can pull it up and show it to the stream. But for those of you listening to the podcast, if you get a chance to look up the Michael Jackson Chuck E. Cheese animatronic, it's
Oh boy.
it's terrifying. I can't remember what the original name was, but it had some, they had that. They had what were some of the others? I'm telling you, some of these were just magnificent names. by Steven's face, I think he might have found it.
I think I got something else.
What'd you find?
No, I can't show this.
Oh no.
No, I just think it might be too terrifying for some people.
We
Tell you,
appreciate your discretion.
some of these were just really creepy.
Yeah.
I'll let me just download a picture of it.
They even had one that was supposed to be for parents because it was a hippo and her bosom would bounce. And they were like, no, we don't want to put this in front of the kids, but they put it there anyway. So it didn't. It
You
didn't
know
matter.
what? The more you know.
Right? Oh
Look at
my
this! Look at
goodness.
this! That's what I'm saying. Is this what you're talking about? Angel?
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
this is
the
the
one.
abomination.
Yeah, that's,
Oh, yeah,
that's
this is the abomination I
That's the
found.
Michael
That is
Jackson animatronic.
terrifying.
It is absolutely creepy.
like this, man.
I'm telling you. You guys
You're
can
like
look it
King,
up.
You're like King Crimson.
It's
from
it's
JoJo's.
an awful
Oh, yeah.
looking.
Just please do not use golden when on me. A requiem, no requiem.
I'm telling you, there were some creepy ones, and the Michael Jackson animatronic was definitely at the top of the list of creepy animatronics that they decided to go with. People are gonna have nightmares now that we have that on the screen.
Oh yeah. Oops.
But all right, so the
I'm just
next
twinkling the eye.
wait before we go into the next fact.
Are you gonna do the
I'm
other?
So again, we are trying to be educational here. The difference between objective and subjective.
Huh.
Now we are going to a subjective game.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
A subjective game?
Yeah, you're not gonna like this one.
Well, I love games.
So this is the messed up feud.
Family
All
Feud song backwards
Again.
right,
in like G major.
all right.
Can we find a G major Family Feud?
Here we go. Are you ready for this, sir?
I'm as ready
I'm
as
going to
this
be
animatronic.
asking you for the top 10 for those of you listening for the first time. What's up, Chris? For those of you listening to the first time, Chris, you can play along from home on our
yeah.
on our Twitch channel. Let's see how many answers he gets right. Here's what's happening. Today we're going to do the top 10 80s arcade game. This was actually brought up by your inspiration. Dude, you got to get that face out of the screen. I can't concentrate
I know.
with that creepy Michael looking at me.
I'm currently looking for something else.
That
And I used the
creepy
80s arcade game.
Michael
I'm gonna try to find-
animatronic is just awful. Oh, this is killing me.
Just make your face bigger until.
I'm gonna have nightmares about that animatronic.
No, I'm trying to be the world's worst Sharingan.
All right. So again, so right now we're gonna go to top 10 80s arcade games. Now there were 55,000 people surveyed. So again, this is a big number of people surveyed. Let's flip a coin. Javier, flip a coin on your phone. Let's see who's gonna go first. All right, call it. Steven, heads or tails?
Tails. I'm always tails.
Let's see. Javier flips the coin, and it says. Da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, come on.
It says, "Oh, come on."
Man,
Tails.
that quarter
It
sucks.
says tails. All right, you win, sir.
All right. So that means I get.
Chris is saying he's going to have nightmares because of that Michael Jackson animatronic.
I'm working on it. Once
Chris,
I
if
get
you
my
just
first
joined us,
answer.
and for those of you who are listening on the podcast, you can see it on our YouTube channel later on. It's going to be under the playlist of Pontification Station. Yeah, it is a creepy Michael Jackson animatronic that Chuck E. Cheese was using way back in the days. All right,
Way
so
back.
you get to go first.
All right, and with that being said, my first answer is one of my personal favorite arcade games. Dig Dug.
Oh, you're gonna be so mad.
What?
Dig Dug is number 11 on the list. You couldn't have been any closer without getting a point. So for those of you, again, just joining us, the way the points work are backwards because we are backwards. If you get answer number 10, you actually get 10 points because that's the hardest question to get. If you get answer number 1, you only get 1 point because that should be the easiest in theory. If you get answer number 11, you get nothing, Steven. Unfortunately, Dig Dug was number 11 on the list, and you got 1 strike already. Javier, what you got?
Street Fighter.
This game is rigged.
Street Fighter is number 14 on the list.
Man.
You guys got to dig deep into that top 10.
So,
All right, Steven, what you got?
So when you said Street Fighter, do you mean Street Fighter 1? Because that was not...
Yeah,
or-
this is all arcades in the 80s.
I was about to say, Javi, because when I think Street Fighter, I think 90s. Galaga?
Galaga is number 1. You get 1 point. All right, so Steven's got... He's on the board with 1 point. Number 1 game in the 80s.
I thought that would be like 4th place. Dang it.
You got 1 point. All right, what's your next answer?
The next one is going to be Missile Command.
No, not even in the top 20. Missile Command's not even in the top 20.
This is my
Javier,
least
what
favorite
you got?
game.
Donkey Kong?
Donkey Kong, number 3. So Javier takes the lead, 3-1. All right, Javier.
Pac-Man?
Pac-Man, number 2. Javier's on a roll. He must be butter. He's got 5 points now.
So there's...
Come on.
It's not...
80s arcade games. Just
Contra. Was
Contra?
Did Contra get
I don't know.
put
Is
in
that
the
your
arcades?
answer?
Yeah.
No, not even in the top 20.
Contra wasn't an
So you
arcade
got
game.
5.
Well, I didn't know if it got
If it was
put in
like a
arcade.
port, no, it was
It's-
originally an
it's
Nintendo.
5-1.
To my understanding,
All right, Steven, what you got?
I'm gonna say the better game, Miss Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man is number 5. So he takes the lead 6-5 right now. Steven with a slight lead. What you got?
I'm gonna say, just to bring it back full circle, Qbert.
No Qbert in the top 20. All right, Javier. You got to get this. He's got a lead 6-5.
Streets of Rage.
No Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you guys one more. One more. You get one more.
Oh man,
It's your
It's like,
last
do I want to
strike,
say
Steven.
do I want to say an obvious one or one of my favorite ones? Because this is supposed to be
I
subjective.
don't know. Yeah, well, I mean, 55,000 people surveyed on
People are dumb.
Ranker.
Frogger.
Frogger's number 6. So he's got 12 points now. 12-5.
And I'm gonna say one of my favorites, Gauntlet.
Gauntlet is 13.
That-
Not top 10. All right, 12-5, Javier. You need big
Dragon's
numbers
Lair.
here. Huh?
Dragon's Lair.
Oh, Dragon's Lair is 12. You guys are putting some good ones. You're missing some of
That
the
should be-
top 10.
That should be number 1.
All
Let's
right,
be honest.
You want to keep going? You want to keep going, Steven? You want to take another shot?
I almost said Missile Command again. But I
12
forgot
to
I already
5.
said
12 to 5.
that.
I mean, I'm keeping it alive because at least
Hold
you
on.
guys are giving me some of the top 20. So
I'm trying to remember.
that keeps the game alive.
I'm trying to remember the name of this game. I know it has burger in it. Burger Time. Burger Time.
Denied. Not in the top 20. Javier?
Okay.
So far, we have Galaga, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Frogger. Those are the
TMNT?
other ones. No. All right, so if you guys miss this one, both of you miss this one, it's over. What you got, Steven? 12-5, you're in the lead.
I was reading chat. What did Javier say? So don't repeat it.
Well, you can't. I can't tell you.
It's top secret.
Yeah, you had to be there. I can't help
You
you.
had to be there.
I had to be there. Okay. I actually don't remember if this was said already. Space Invaders.
Space Invaders number 4. So you got 16 points now.
I'm out. I can't think of any other game. No, NES games are coming to mind.
All right, give me something else. It's still alive.
Did I say Frogger already?
Yes.
Frogger 2. No, I'm just kidding. Electric Boogaloo. We already said Pac-Man. I just said Miss Pac-Man earlier. Thinking some I'm digging through my brain of like those arcade cabinet compilations.
And we already decided Dig Dug was 11, so don't dig too
And it
much.
has. I'm already about to explode. Okay. I'm thinking of those vertical side-scrolling shooters like Raiden, but Raiden was 90s and early 2000s. 1942 wasn't a cabinet, was it? That was purely NES, wasn't it? Because otherwise my answer is 1942.
What's your answer?
1942.
1942 is number 8 on the list.
You're kidding me.
Dude,
That was an
you're
arcade
killing
game?
it. You got 20
I thought it was
points.
just NES. I thought it was just NES.
Dude, I spent so much time playing 1942 with my best friend
I love
Alan.
it.
Because
I
we
have it.
would
It's on my
sit
shelf.
there, the two of us, one on each side of the arcade cabinet, and just go till we finished the whole game. We spent so many quarters on that. And for those of you listening, I am 50 years old, graduated from high school in '89, so this is actually right down my alley. I played most of these, if not all of them. All right, you got another one.
I'm out. Chuck E. Cheese is my answer for
Chuck E.
arcade.
Cheese, Javier. Javier, you can still make a comeback, believe it or not. There's number 7 and number
Bros?
9 and 10. 7.
Super Mario Bros.
That's number
They-
20.
Is it number
They
20?
technically- I forgot they technically made a.
Yeah, that's number
Yeah.
20 on the list. Oh man, this is hard. You guys are keeping it alive though, because Steven got the last one right. So one more. Steven,
One more.
what you got?
I'm talking about-
Galaga, Pac-Man,
So yeah, I made
Donkey
the
Kong, Space
misfortune.
Invaders,
I made
Space
the
Pac-Man.
misfortune of being born in the 90s.
Frogger.
Imagine how I
1942.
feel.
Yeah,
No.
we got 3 generations here for those of you listening.
Javier, are you technically a millennial? I'm stalling, as you can tell.
I was born 99.
In December of '99, he was barely in there.
So yeah, I think the cutoff point for millennials is like 2001 or something like that. I might be wrong. Doesn't matter. Anyway, God, I'm looking at Chuck E. Cheese pictures, and that's all that's on my mind right now. I got Chuck E. Cheese on the brain,
Chuck E.
boys.
Cheese animatronic rabbit trail. It just went down that bunny hole.
should-
It's awful.
You should switch yourself to the other side so it looks like he's blowing you up.
oh yeah.
Well, I'm about to change it.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why I'm looking at Chuck E.
All right,
Cheese
so
pictures.
go ahead.
I'm gonna say Asteroids, just because that was one of my favorite games. growing
Asteroids number 7.
up. Now I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I
27
can't think of anything else.
Points. You
I
are
don't think-
killing it right
I
now.
don't think Javier can recover. Let's be honest.
Javier, I don't know.
I can't recover. Like, what?
Technically, there's still 9 and 10 on the list. You need both of those in order to make this. In order to make the comeback.
I say you raise it to top 15.
We already used some of those, so it's too late now. So, come on, Javier. It'd be really close if I raced it to the top 15 because he got 12 and 14. You got 11.
Maybe I shouldn't. I didn't say anything. Never mind.
Yeah.
It's so.
Did you guys see the new Chuck E. Cheese logo? It's pretty bad.
Did I?
Yeah,
I played
it's really
number
bad.
9 a whole lot. I don't think I played number 10 much at all. I mean,
Killer
I saw
Instinct.
it there all the time. I just didn't play it.
No, Killer Instinct was 90.
You know, 9 I played the junk out of it,
I
and
finally
10.
found it.
I will say this: 9 and 10 are solo players. They're not multiplayer games. I guess 10 could have been multiplayer, but I ignored it, so I have no idea.
Yeah, where my 90s babies at?
I mean, it's multiplayer now, but back then, I don't know if it was multiplayer on the arcade cabinet.
This is so.
All right, Javier, One shot. Just like
Do not miss
Eminem.
your chance.
This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
You better.
Lose yourself in the moment you want it.
What you got?
Uh,
What you got, Javier?
I honestly, I don't know.
Number 9. Outrun.
I have no idea what that
Outrun.
is.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea
You've
what that is.
played it, but you don't remember it. It was literally you get in this car and just run forever. It was a great game. Had in number 10, Tetris. I honestly don't remember if Tetris had
Does it- I
two-player
don't remember-
capability at the time for
I don't
the
remember even
arcade
having.
cabinet.
I didn't even know how to cabinet. I
It
mean, like
was
an official
there.
cabinet.
I ignored it because I'd rather beat things up.
Like I figured they'd be like the cabinets like you would see like a Dave and Buster's modernized, but I did not think it would have an 80s cabinet.
Yeah. Some of the other ones in the top 20 were pretty cool. Like you guys mentioned Dig Dug, Dragon Slayer. Dragon
I've
Slayer
never
was
played
like the
Outrun.
prettiest game that was awful. You know?
I prefer Space Ace actually.
It
over-
was so pretty, that Dragon Slayer. Gauntlet, Street Fighter, Defender, pole position, 16, 17
Pole position, yeah, that was another one.
Centipede,
Burger Time.
18 Battle Zone, 19
burger.
I played a lot. It was Afterburner.
Afterburner was fun.
Yeah, and number 20 Super Mario Bros. We talked about that.
I want to buy a Spy Hunter cab.
Spy
I love Spy Hunter. I actually love that. Like the what was it for PS2? 2002. Spy Hunter came out as well. That game was fun.
Did it?
Yeah, it was a 3D Spy Hunter.
Was
And then they
it
tried to
not-
do like a reboot back in like 14 with like The Rock. It was really weird. They were
That's
Dwayne Johnson.
weird.
I feel like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna start,
that's real.
I feel like I'm gonna start keeping score. So far, is 3-1. Steven. And Steven seems to win all the subjective games. And so far, you've won the only objective game we've had.
Which is weird because I'm the most like combative against the subjective.
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
So, all right, Javier. What is your point? The last point of today is
Okay, mine's actually the fact that Charles Martinet has been the voice actor for almost every single appearance of Mario in popular media. There have only been 12 projects that have not been voiced by Charles Martinet. And one of those was voiced by what's his name now? I can't remember.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Yes, Chris Pratt. No, one of them was
He's so
Peter
cool.
Cullen, the original voice for Optimus Prime in the animated show in the original animated Transformers show.
Huh.
Which was made solely to sell toys.
Right. No, I mean, I was almost every cartoon or animated series of any brand.
Thank you, Hasbro. Although I gotta say, I really do have to thank Hasbro because the original Transformers show was amazing.
Well, did you know that the actress for Mario 64 also voiced the voice for Princess Peach, and she also wrote the game's text?
Well, I mean, being as you told us like 20 minutes ago, yes, yes, I did actually know that.
You doing all right today, Angel?
You hit 50 and it all goes downhill from there.
Yeah, once
like,
the gray hair started coming out, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start forgetting things on purpose.
I just act this way so when I get old and senile, nobody will know the difference.
No, exactly. You're just kind of
Yeah.
setting the standard right now. You're just setting the bar.
We're just going with it. No, that is very cool. So wait a minute. So he did. So I was reading. He's been 10 voices of Mario. What does that mean? So I was trying to figure out what that meant.
he's been 10 voices of Mario.
Yeah, like there have been 10 voices of Mario. And Charles, what I read was there's been 10 voices of Mario, and Charles has been most of them, basically.
Yes.
So-
There have been
So has he done multiple voices, like different voices for Mario? That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? It sounds like
so what it is Mario as a character has had the same voice for however long he's had a voice, and then there are like outside there are outside projects like the Super Mario Super Show where Mario was Lou Albano, that have not had Charles Martinet.
which I mean, kind of going back to what we were saying before, which is interesting. I also did read, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but that Mario 64 was really the first one where they started to use actual speaking lines.
I think it was because of the way that technology had progressed at that point. Before that, I think it was less advantageous to put in that many voice lines and stuff when they already have so many other sounds going on, and Nintendo has always been one to, as far as like my experience and my knowledge, one to cut corners whenever they can. Like, there's no reason that the Joy-Con controllers should be as cheap as they are. There's no reason for that.
Yeah, we've been drifting since what, 2016?
It's ridiculous. But
I mean, speaking of cutting corners, did you know that in Mario 64, the actress who voiced Princess Peach, her name was Leslie Swan. She actually also wrote some of the text. So what happened was, and the reason I bring this up again.
I wasn't listening. Can you repeat all that again?
So the reason I bring this up again is because you saying they cut corners, it actually does have something to do with this. It's not just me going senile.
I'm going to lose my mind. I'm losing brain cells.
Anyway, so the reason I do bring that again is because this time it's actually pertinent to the whole thing. What happened was she was supposed to be the writer.
Mm-hmm.
They sent her to Japan as the writer, and they said, well, since you're here and you have to translate this to English anyway, why don't you go ahead and read this stuff? And they're like, why are we going to hire somebody else? Why are we going to bring somebody else in? If you're already here, you're already capable of doing it, and we're having you write it anyway, so let's just go ahead and cut another person out because there's no need to go get them. So that's how she ended up doing it. That's
there was another story like that. I feel like we touched on it in one of the previous podcasts. Where somebody was the voice of something because
they just happened to be there.
Yeah, and then they went back for like royalties or something. I can't remember.
Silent Hill.
Silent
Hill.
Silent Hill 2, technically. So, trying to remember the gentleman's name who did the voice of James Sunderland from number 2. So what ended up happening was they did Konami put the job of doing an HD collection or remaster, because at that time there was HD collections left and right for PS3 360 generations, and they gave it to some company, and they didn't give the company the source code. Allegedly, Konami lost the source code, so they had to redo both Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3 from the ground up, and it was a disaster. Like, it's a really bad port. Like, it's considered quite the joke. Like, if you're ever playing Silent Hill, do not go for those HD collections. It's not worth it. Don't do it. Anyway, I'm trying to find the best ways to phrase this. They basically recasted the entire cast for Silent Hill 2, and they redid all the voices, and great actors. I mean, Troy Baker, was played as James, and then you had, I just can't. I'm blanking on names today. But anyway, the original actor for James Sunderland, the main character of Silent Hill 2, he's like, hey, that's cool that you're changing the voice and all, but a lot of people didn't know too is the people that did the voices for the characters also did the entire motion capture. So their work is being displayed again in this HD collection.
Yeah.
They're not getting paid for it. So technically, on one side, he is like talking about fair representation and fair, compensation for the work he's done. These people are making money off of the work he's done, as well as the other. It wasn't just for himself; he was speaking for all of those actors
Right.
at that time. And it was just a mess. So eventually, they found a compromise. They allowed the option for players to switch between Silent Hill 2 original voice acting and the new voice acting. They didn't do that for Silent Hill 3 though. The HD collection
Wait,
was
so
locked
you can switch the audio?
You can switch the audio in the Silent Hill
Oh, that's
2
cool.
HD collection. Only Silent Hill 2 though. You can only switch between the original cast and the new cast. Silent Hill 3 was locked at the new cast for the HD collection.
That's kind of cool.
So-
I mean, that kind of reminds me of the whole Halo, when you could go back and play Halo 2 and you could switch back between
Yeah.
the original.
I think
and
that was one of the
new
coolest
Don't commend these guys as much because they did not do a good job. So,
Hey,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
I
Not
love
as-
that.
not
though.
as-
I
not
love
as
the fact that I
revolutionary.
could click on that thing and just see it the way I originally saw Halo 2.
But see, when 343 did it with Halo, that was to cater to the fans. That was, hey guys, we added this beautiful thing because you, the people, would love this.
Yeah.
This for HD collection was to avoid a lawsuit.
Yeah, no,
So
no,
it
no,
wasn't-
no. Yeah,
it wasn't for the
completely
people.
different. I'm just saying that I really appreciated it. I thought that was really cool when they did that for Halo and it was really funny because they had this beautiful, new rendition of it, and I ended up playing the old school view the whole time. I just liked it. There was just something about that, that's
was
just
classic.
really cool. Yeah, the whole classic idea.
And I'm back at the wiki page now. Mary Elizabeth McGlynn was another great actress that helped out with that. And in fact, she did the voice direction for that remaster, which actually I kind of oppose that. The HD collection, the remastered voices are actually pretty bad. Not that the acting is bad, but it just completely takes the tone away from the game. Again, Silent Hill is known for its avant-garde, very uncanny valley.
Yeah.
All that gets removed when you have these new voices.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So, very unfortunate. So, if you're going to play the Silent Hill games, please play the original releases if you can, whether it be the Xbox version, which has the additional content, or the original PlayStation 2.
But she
Or
was the
maybe
voice actor.
Yes, she was a voice actor or actress for the female lead of the game.
But she didn't write the text because,
No. So the dialogue, the actual. Oh God, I see what you're actually saying now. I hate this.
because
Steven's
who
upset?
did?
No, please
Swan.
remind me.
Leslie Swan, was it?
Yeah. For those of you who were wondering, it was Leslie Swan. She wrote the text and she voiced Peach in Mario 64. And if you've learned nothing else,
That was the train leaving the station of his brain. All of his thoughts out the window. He lost it. They're gone. They left the station.
And with that, we're gonna do the outro song. Got nothing.
God, I hope people do not have their speakers or headset on max volume.
For those of you who just joined us right now in the middle of that, I do apologize. This will be up on YouTube, and you can actually go back and see what in the world we were talking about. Hey, it's Black Cyclone, gone like the wind. It is like Spirit. Again, because this is Pontification Station. Thank you so much for joining us. We talk about whatever comes to mind, and Black Cyclone on Twitch, GOTE.tv, just commented, "Gone like the wind," and all I could think of was the movie Spirit. You remember that movie with the horse?
Yeah.
Okay, so I used to be
Not
a
a good
Spanish
movie.
teacher. No, wait. This is the way to end the show today because the show has been so bizarre. Anyway, we were watching in Spanish 1, and in Spanish 1, a lot of times what I would do is I would put the movie in Spanish for them, and I'd put English subtitles across the bottom. I really wonder what some of these people writing the subtitles are thinking in their head. I don't understand. There's a scene in Spirit where the one horse, the horse sees the other horse, blah, blah, blah. And across the bottom of the screen it says, seductively neighing. It's like, so just in case you missed it, you can go back and you can see that
Seductive neighing.
right, the seductively neighing, according to the subtitles on the movie Spirit. That's right, and I never lived that one over as a Spanish teacher. The students would continuously bring that whole seductively neighing thing up. I did teach high school, so it was interesting. But thank you, Black Cyclone, for joining us on the stream. Again, those of you who joined us late, you can go back. You can also find us on any podcast. Pretty much should be everywhere. This will be uploaded later on this week. It is Pontification Station on iTunes, on iHeart, on Spotify, on something else that I can't remember, but it is out there. Again, thank you so much for joining us. This is us talking to you, appreciating your time, and making a difference. See ya.